Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, my name's Kirsten. This is where I art and craft, and today I'm going to start something new. I've got some things that I've seeked and gathered, and now I'm going to create, because I've decided I'm going to do seek, gather and create. And it's been around for a wee while. I know about it through Lisa Goddard Art, and I've kind of watched it, and I've done a couple of them, but this time round I thought, just do it. It's only 4 things. It's over the one a week over August. So just do it this time, Kirsten. Don't just sit there in the background, do it. So the first week, what we have to seek for, to gather up, and then to create from are the colour pink, remember, hand, and a window. So I've gathered some stuff together that kind of falls into that category. I might go in and gather, bring more things in, because I'm aware that I've actually gone quite pinky on it, even though I've decided to pick up this blue thread. I've gone quite pinky. And I've just remembered there was something else I was actually going to get, which we'll come to in a minute. When I get to that point, I will pause you and just go and get the other thing. But the first thing I did was I thought, remember, what am I going to do? Remember. And I suddenly heard my mother going, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. So I went to look for a picture of my mother, who died during the pandemic, and this is a picture of her as a girl. So I don't remember her like this clearly, but I do remember this photograph being on her mother's bedside when her mother was in the nursing home. So this photograph not only reminds me of my mother, but it reminds me of my grandmother as well, and this was my grandmother's house of the time. And this window's in the back, and she's got hands, so I could claim this is 3 of the things, but I'm not going to do that, I don't think. I think I'm going to try and not do that, because I could then also claim that it's pink, because I'm not going to use this photograph because this photograph's too precious. But I have scanned it in, and I've tinted it with various shades of pink. I absolutely adore this one. My mother would have hated this colour. She'd have loved these colours. This colour not so much so, but I adore this one. So I'm very torn about whether or not to use this one, because I know she wouldn't like that colour particularly. But we'll see what happens when we get to that point. This is an envelope, and it's because I've decided I'm actually going to make everything on envelopes, and then I can decide what journal they'll end up going in. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take it all apart, if I can, very gently. So the first thing I'm going to actually do is right, shall I show you everything else? Shall I show you everything else first? That's an idea, and then I can move it out of the way. I've got this bit of pink sari silk, which I love. I've got this, is another of my, I've never seen that before, stamps from Timo. I do have some of the earlier stamps that other people don't seem to have and didn't even know exist. I'm sure this one's still available, and I don't think this one's a terribly early one. This is Architecture CMS 369, but I use it a lot for backgrounds, and it has this beautiful tracery window. I was going to use that as a background stamp, so that's why we have that. We'll come back to that to the end. Those of you who watch me a lot know that I occasionally use little bits from her French English dictionary, and that's a bit of that. That's just because it's got a bit of pink on it. This because she used to sew all our clothes, so sewing always reminds me of her. I'm not quite sure how that got there. This is just because it's a bit of pink, and I thought I might use this. This was a block printing thing I did. This, again, I thought it might end up being used. This actually is from her book of her father's from January 1944. I think this is part of a tank. I think. That's just a bit of pink. This is a pink down the side, but it's also got other colours on it. And this is a hand. This tissue paper. Something was wrapped in it, and I can't remember what it was. I have a feeling it might have been a bottle of gin, but it might not have been. But there's a hand. There's also a heart and eyes and things, but it's because the hand's there. I thought we might use a bit of that. The other thing is there is a stencil I have with a hand on it, or is it a stamp? It's a Tim Holtz one, and I'll use that if I decide not to use this, which I haven't got that out. The other thing I have is this, which is up the back. My mother did a lot of crocheting and tatting and that kind of stuff, and there was a really big, when she moved into a flat after my father died, she got rid of a lot of stuff, and she gave me all her sewing and knitting things, because I sewed and knitted and crocheted. Didn't crochet, but I did knit. And this was floss, whatever you want to call it, and there were several different colours, and this is a kind of cream colour, there was a greeny colour, and inside these all, I mean, this one's still got it in. I haven't taken this one out yet, because I only take them out when I run out of it. It's this bit of paper that tells you about all the different types of floss. So I've got that as well, and that, because I've still got some of these. Right, okay, that was a lot. Sorry. Shall we get on? I've got this, and I'm going to do something with it. Can you guess what I'm going to do with it? Can you? Can you? I'm going to make a window, and I'm going to cheat. Well, it's not really cheating, because I've got it and it's here to be used. I'm going to use this because it's fab and it makes life easy. Let's put it there. Just got to make sure it's nice and straight. And then what you do is you line up, get the magnets lined up again, and you get and you cut it out, and there we go. It's getting a bag that requires all the strength. And then if I want to make this a bigger window, which I do, I can just shift it over. So let's just shift it over a bit. And it doesn't matter that there's a gap there, because the gap there can just help you make sure you've got it lined up right, which I haven't. So let's just try that again. Shouldn't be able to see either end of it. There we go. Let's see, I can see the bottom. If I can actually see it, then it's not going to cut straight. There we go. There we go. There we go, and we now have a window. You can get these in circles as well, by the way. I don't know if they do them anything else, and I don't know if they do them any other sizes. I got that and I just fell in love with it. Okay, let's just ink that up before I go any further. And I think we have a bit of kind of pinky faux mica here somewhere. I'm sure there was a kind of pinky bit. I don't know if it's big enough for the envelope though. I don't really want to print any more out at the moment, because I really want to get on and do this, but none of these, because the full sheets have all been used and I've only got these party bits, part bits, although I quite like that one even though it's not very pinky. Actually it kind of goes with the, you know what, I'm going to use that one. I'm going to use that one. So let's just sellotape, because what I like to do when I put something like that in an envelope is I just like to put a layer of sellotape along the top edge so that anything going in and out won't catch on it. Yes, I am that person. That's my dad, not my mum. That makes me that person that puts the thing back on the sellotape. There we go. Right, let's stick this down. Kind of like the fact that it's a bit torn there. That's good. You put another bit of ink on here. Well, actually end up do another tear somewhere as well. Okay, so I'm thinking, stop saying so, Kirsten. I'm thinking, oh, here they are, that we'll use these as a kind of background. And what I'm thinking of doing is, let's get And what I now want to do is I want to stick this over that so it just mutes it down a little bit, and then this is going to go in as the backing on here. Leave that to dry for a bit. And let's move on to the window itself. Should have done this before putting the acetate in. Let's see if I can get this round the right way. That's maybe that way up. Yep. I want to stamp on this window. Do I want to stamp this on the back as well? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. Let's I'm not sure. Oh, we could have the hand waving. Do we want to wave it in the window or out the window? Do we want to put it on? What have I done with it? There it's there. Do we want to put it on here? So that it's waving. Oops, the other way up. So it's waving out the window. We could have it kind of. Let's. This hole is 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off at the top so that everything's. There's the lowest point. There's the lowest point. So we'll cut that off there, and then we'll do. Ooh. Might not manage 2 inches actually, I've just noticed. Oh yes, we will. I want to do 2.5 really, so that it's got 1/4 inch either side of the window. So if we put this in, so that when whatever I finally put in it is taken out, you see that, which is the background. Oh, a wavy hand in it. A hand wave. Oh, yes, I love that. Hand waving out the envelope. So let's stick that down there. And what we'll do is I think actually what we'll do is stick that on once it's in place, because then it will be in the right place. So let's stick this in the envelope. Not a big enough bit of tape. Good job it hadn't been pressed down. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to put that back on its thing where it belongs. That's what we're going to do. Okay, we don't need this, but do we want a bit of this? Oh, I've still not used the foot bit. So why don't we put a bit of this on the back here? There's my... Let's concentrate on the front. We want her in the window. So we need to make a tag that will put her in the window. And I'm thinking, should we put this over here? This bright, lovely pinky bit, because this will look fab on it. Oh dear. I have just used, if I can see it, it's here somewhere. I was such a fuddle today. I've been like this all week. There it's there. I've just used this 3D liner in gold to put a frame round here, and I said I'm going to leave that to dry and I'll be back. And I stood up to switch off the camera to discover my battery was flat on my phone, and you got most of this bit, but you didn't get this bit. So what I decided to do was to cover the card with the pinky bit of paper. I then used a bit of sari silk, which I ironed flat and put down as a background. This figure one bit comes from my grandfather's bit of this is figure one over here. This is a bit of the embroidery floss stuff. This is a bit of my mum's dictionary. This is the picture. As I said, I've used this to create a kind of another window frame, whatever you want to call it, round here. And this is now drying, and I will probably at least stamp something on the back of there, which I should have probably done before I put down a three-dimensional thing, but hey ho. On here, what I did, to great hilarity that isn't recorded, so maybe that's just as well, is I've put in another hand that sits on top of the hand that's there, so that when the card goes in, the hand is actually on top of it. And I did that, and then what I was going to do was make a little cluster here, but I needed to cut this feather out. I want to cut this feather out. I don't want a face cut, but I want to cut this feather out of here, and then that will go in there. That's another bit of sari silk. That's a Seth Art to dye. This is a Sizzix dye 666003A. It's there, it's there. What's it called? Feathery. So I need to cut that, and that'll do that. On the back, I'm thinking and I think we'll just use ground espresso. I nearly just went to get a pink stamp, but I think we'll just use ground espresso. Now we're just going to point up at the hand traverse handle. We've got a bit of a step here, so I'm hoping that's going to take okay. Yeah, that's fine. That needs to be put away. That is from a travel set by Tim Holtz, and it's one of these wee half sets with this and then a half a small stencil as well. Right, that's we've got the pink, we've got a hand, so I'm happy with that in the back. This is the front. Let's do this. So the big question now is, am I going to do this like a stamp with a 1? So yes, I am going to make this into a stamp, I think. So this is my make. I'm going to actually date this, I think. Let's put a date on this. Today is the 7th. I'm going to put a date down in this corner here. I'm not going to write the bits and pieces on it. I'm just going to, I just wanted to stamp the date on it. I love the fact. So that was 2. So yes, I don't think I said that. That's 2 stamps. That's a round stamp, and then that was a wee, just to make it look like the stamp had been franked. Seek, gather, create. This is week 1. There's 4 weeks in total. I link down below Lisa Goddard's video on it, because Lisa's who I heard about it through. I'll also link down Tina, who is another of the ones who dreamt this up and started it, because I've seen her video. I've not seen, there are a couple of other creators, but I've not seen any of their videos. So your best bet is to go into Lisa or Tina's, or go to both Lisa and Tina's and get all the information there. If you're interested, if you want to join in, then join in. They're happy for people to join in. They just ask that you use the hashtag Seek, Gather, Create, AUG, AUG 25. Thank you so much for watching. You take care. Bye for now. Keep crafting.